Today we're going to continue our investigation with slope. Remember we saw yesterday, slope was the quotient of our vertical distance divided by our horizontal distance. A quick way for us to remember this is that slope is our rise divided by our run. If I think about a thermometer rises and falls, an old red thermometer. And when I'm running, I can only run on a horizontal surface, left and right. Right here, we see something called a slope triangle. A slope triangle helps us find our slope. We get our rise from that vertical distance in our slope triangle and the run from our horizontal distance in our slope triangle. Something to know about finding slope is that when we draw in our slope triangle, we're going to pick a point to count. If we are traveling up, our distance is going to be positive. If we are traveling to the right, our distance is going to be positive. But if we travel down or to the left, our distance is going to be negative. We'll talk a little bit more about that later. So right here, I'm giving you a graph that has a line, and we need to find the slope of that line. Our first step is that we're going to plot 2 points on our line. Remember, when we're plotting 2 points on our line, we want to plot those points where our 4 corners of our grid lines and our lines meet. So right here would be a good point. The 4 boxes in the corners of those boxes meet the line at the same point. That point is at 70, 70. Now right here, I'm going to make another point here at 50, 30. That's another spot where the 4 corners of my boxes and my line meet. This helps us be more accurate when we are counting our vertical distance or our horizontal distance. Now here's where our negatives and our positives comes in. What I like to think about, I'm going to pick one of my points to start at. I'm going to make this point right here, the bottom point, my point that I start at. And I think about, how can I translate that bottom point so I make it to 70, 70? What I think about right here, I'm going to travel along my grid lines almost like they're streets. So I'm first going to start off by going 2 boxes to the right, and then I'm going to go 4 boxes up. Because I went to the right, that's going to be positive, and up is going to be positive as well. Now I need to look at my scale, and I need to make sure that I'm labeling the correct distances on my slope triangle. So step 2, we were drawing in our slope triangle. And now step 3, we're going to count our vertical and our horizontal distance. So on our horizontal distance, remember side to side, left to right, we traveled 2 boxes. You can see that right here with our 2 green jumps. However, if we look down here on our scale, 2 boxes is actually 20 units. So my horizontal distance was 20. I went right, so it's positive. Now if we look right here, I hopped 4 boxes up. But it wasn't 4 units that I hopped up, it was actually 40 units that I hopped up looking at my scale. So the next thing that we do is we write our slope. Remember, our slope is our vertical, our rise, divided by our horizontal, our run. My vertical rise was 40. My horizontal, my run was 20. I can leave my slope like that, or I can simplify. If I simplify 40 divided by 20, I get a slope of 2. Now I want you to pause the video and I want you to think about, what is the slope here? Think about, how would I translate one of my points to then get me to my other point to draw in my slope triangle. So right here, if I start down here at my bottom point, and I'm going to travel up, remember up is positive, so that's going to be 2 boxes up. And then I'm traveling to the left. Remember, left is now going to be a negative distance, so I travel to the left 1, 2, 3, 4 boxes, so that's going to be negative. Remember, my rise goes over my run and my slope, so I went up 2, my vertical distance was 2, my horizontal distance was -4. 2 over -4 simplifies to -1/2, or you can even write it as -0.5. Sometimes, though, it's best to leave it as a fraction. That one was a trick question because now we went to the left. Remember, up and to the right is positive. If you travel down and to the left, it's negative. Now, another way you might see slope used is if you are given a slope and you're given a point and it asks you to graph your line. So if we see right here, the directions say graph the line that has a slope of -9/8 and includes the point 0, 10. So my first step is I'm going to plot the point. I plot the point at 0, 10. Awesome. That should be easy for us. Now I'm going to use my slope to translate that point. So -9/8 was my slope. Remember, if we're going -9, we're not going to go up 9. We're going to go down 9. And +8, that means we're going to go to the right 8 units. So now we have to count. So I'm going to count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. And then I'm going to go to the right 8. So I'll put a square over this so you see that. I'm going to change my color. I'm going to go to the right 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. My new point is right there at 8, 1. And I'm going to draw my line in. And now I'm all set. I just graphed a line that has a slope of -9/8 and includes the point 0, 10. If you have made it to the end of this video, in the text box where it says code word, I want you to put your favorite candy. Have a fantastic day. Let me know if you have any questions.